All right, part 2. We looked at Ecclesiastes 3:16, 17, and 18. In Ecclesiastes 3, it said, "Moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there." So wickedness and iniquity are the same Hebrew words here. So I'm looking and I'm finding wickedness where there's supposed to be regulation, judgment, proper judgment, and I'm finding wickedness. I'm looking where there should be justice, righteousness, and I'm finding iniquity. What's going on? Marvin Gaye asked it. I'm asking it too, and I'm answering it. What's going on is the perversion of God's standard, especially among the church, in the church. The church is supposed to be the place where you look for righteousness. It's the place where you look to see the standard of God. It's the place where Yeshua said, I should look there, and people should be able to look there and become envious and want to be a part of this, because we're supposed to be showing love, righteousness, peace, and making them want to come here. But instead, I look where there should be judgment, and there's wickedness. I look where there should be justice, and there's injustice. This is the world. Now, what should the church be doing? Because we should be showing the standard. Let's look at Ecclesiastes 5, verse 8. Now, if you see the oppression of the poor and violent perverting of judgment and justice in a province, marvel not at the matter. For he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. Now, you get both words in here once again. You get judgment and justice again. You get the fact that you're looking at the oppression, the tyranny, the extortion of the poor. Now, I am a member of this democratic society, but I'm not so oblivious that I can't see that the poor are being oppressed. I don't mean just poor black people. Poor white people are being oppressed. Poor people are being oppressed because we are not living according to God's standard. With God's standard, the poor would be fed without taking anything from anybody. The poor would be fed because the standard of God was for those that had much to give to those who didn't have as much. So we had that standard. But instead, what we see is tyranny. We see people oppressing the poor. We see the violent perverting of judgment. Now, that term, violent perverting, literally means the denial of rights. The denial of rights. So you are perverting judgment. You're perverting the regulation of God when you are denying people their rights. Now, it says, and righteousness. So if you don't have judgment according to the regulation of God, then you don't have justice. If you don't have the regulation of God being accepted as right, as the regulation, the prescription for your behavior, then you're going to not get justice. You're going to have unrighteousness. And if you have this in a province, if you have a place, say our country, where God's standard is ignored, and even the people of God kind of ignore his standard, then there's going to be injustice. There's going to be unrighteousness. There's going to be perverting of judgment is going to bring about unrighteousness. And we should not marvel because it's going to happen. Why is this? Because even he that is high needs to understand there's one higher than him pulling his strings, and he that is higher, and there may be one even higher than him pulling his strings, but you all need to understand that God is pulling everybody's strings. God is in ultimate complete control. He says in verse 9 that the profit of the earth is for everyone. The profit of the earth is for all. And the king himself is served by the field. So if you don't have a farmer in the field doing what he's supposed to do, then the king won't eat either. We need each other. And then when we all work together to make a profit, the profit benefits everyone. But that can only happen where there is righteousness. And when we have the violent perverting of judgment, when we have laws being ignored, when we have people being oppressed, treated differently because they're poor, because they're black, because they're white, because they're uneducated, because they just don't know what to do. They're ignorant of the way to do things, and we take advantage of them because that it is, then God is not pleased, and there is unrighteousness. And we, the oppressed, the people who are oppressing them, the people who are taking advantage of these people, we have reduced ourselves to the level of beasts, and we can then see, as in slavery, as in Nazi Germany, as in Rwanda with the genocide there, as in the Congo, we can see as people taking the Holocaust. I mean, my goodness, what is your mentality? Where has your mind been lowered when you can take people and take their skin and make lampshades out of them? What kind of mentality does that take? It takes the mentality of a beast. And you've gotten there because you've forgotten the regulation of God, and you have learned to accept and embrace unrighteousness.